getting rocking and rolling here, waiting for the signal to actually go through. Hello, everybody on Twitch. Just start up. If you're watching this after the fact, of course, you can cut forward to 00:00 to get part 2 of Blinding Lights, a horror story based on the song, the titular song by The Weeknd. Now I'm just waiting for lovely people to start coming on in to get their weekly dose of fiction. What am I doing? Yeah, drive.google. Okay. I'm a little tired, you guys. I'm a little bit pooped. I've been writing all the live long day. Yeah, writing all the day long, you know. There we go. All right. Yo, Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, the DRDB. What is up? Oh, crazy story. I thought I was going to finish this in 2 episodes, but as usual, it's just girthy. It's just swinging, and there's nothing I can do. Sean, how are you? Sound. Sound. Love it. Hello, Dr. Para. How you doing? Dawn, hello, everybody. I'm really digging this story, and it's not done yet. Remember, I write these kind of as I go each week, but a bit more philosophical than the stuff I usually. Actually, that's not true. There's a lot of philosophical stuff in my work. It's just, sandwiched between poop jokes and ultraviolence. It's right in the middle, which, see now, in this map, the philosophical part is right here. Richard Bennett, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. Cobalt in the house. All right, everybody. We've got, I am not sure how long this read will take because I literally just finished this shit like 20 minutes ago. I had an end contemplated, but then I felt I needed to really explore a different part of it. And you guys will hear that tonight, but absolutely finish in part 3. Yarp. Yep. How are you? Yarp. Chris Growl in the house. What's going on? Mr. Happy Edward Rocco. Doc Campbell, how you doing? Definitely gonna be a fun show though. It's gonna be a fun show, you guys. And then of course, after the fact, we are going to go over the most highlighted segments of the Crypt Book 1 Shakedown, because Crypt Book 2 is out in just a couple of weeks, 2 weeks and 2 days, I think. I'll put that in the chat room. Obviously, if you've not pre-ordered your version, you don't want to do that. I still got a little bit more. I wanted to put in a brief history of the First Galactic War, because it's the Second Galactic War we're in, I think, in the Crypt series. That happens in the Siglerverse. But I want to give some backstory, some detail for the people who aren't used to all of the stuff, and then a governmental overview. So I still have to get those done. So I think the hardcover pre-order might not be up yet. Let's take a look. Let's go to Amazon.com/ let's go to Amazon.com. All these slashing and burns and stuff. The Crypt. Well, shout out, you guys. We're not going to get political or anything like that, but today, I believe, it just announced France is sending troops to Greenland, I think, to do some war games, which is what you do when you have a pending invasion. So France is doing that. Sweden's already committed troops, so wild shit. No, the hardcover is not yet available for pre-order, but the Kindle and the audiobook are, and of course the audiobook is read by none other than Ray Porter. Yeah, it's good stuff. Recluse Mage, how are you? Sean says, so you're saying you have a girth expansion tendency for the short stories too? Yeah, just it's a vacuum tube is what it is, and it stretches and girthifies my stories. Pretty sure my wife right now is down there shaking her head like, you should stop talking about that. But that's the way it is. Definitely going to have some fun today, though. We're going to try and escape our problems and get into some significant problems with a person and 2 individuals who are possibly not persons, but it's difficult to say at this point. So that is what we got going on. Let me get my A did the script for me. Let me see if I can get that called up for y'all. Close you. Let's see. Tonight's live read is mixtape track number 8, Blinding Lights Part 2. If you want to fast forward to the story, hear that, just go 00:00 and you'll be all good. On tonight's Deep Cuts, the most highlighted sections of the Crypt Shakedown. I'm really looking forward to this. If you guys stick around for part 2, remember we have to close this down, start a new stream in order to get, the extra episode up and the SEO juice and all that other stuff. For all the thousands of people who have read The Crypt on Kindle, you have an option to go through and highlight, that's a cool part, and you highlight it. And I can see where the most highlighted parts are. And I think we've got about 10 of them or so. And we're going to read those parts off, explain what's going on with that, and then talk about what's wrong with all of you, that this is the parts that you guys seem to like the most. Let me do my advertiser thing. Advertising is going great. Boom. Of course, longtime advertiser from 20 years now, GoDaddy.com. If you need a new domain name, you want to use the code CJCFOSSIG3, and that gets you 99% off the first year of a 3-year new domain registration, which includes .coms. Of course, Quince.com, a more recent but awesome advertiser. They make all kinds of, they seem like high-end clothes, and they are, and yet they don't cost high-end prices. And then there's crazy crap. Now you can buy Cristal and caviar at Quince.com/Sigler. And I'm going to guess the prices are pretty good, although it's not something I have been buying as of late. Although when The Americans ended, that TV show, The Americans, which is fantastic, I think it lasted 7 seasons, since it was based on Russian spies in America, got to the last episode, A did this whole smorgasbord of of caviar and vodka and all these other little fun delicacies, and it was a blast. I'd never had the stuff before. It was great. Awesome, phenomenal friggin' series. Carrie Russell's just a boss. And Stamps.com. If you run a business, if you make things, if you ship things, you're going to want to check out Stamps.com and use the code Sigler100, because that is going to save you a bunch. You can wind up saving up to 80% on USPS postage. You save a whole bunch on postal supplies. And A&I use that, have been using it for 15 years now. And every time you guys get shipped something from scottsigler.com/store, that is sent with Stamps.com. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, people. Go back to opening. We got 90 seconds before we get into it. Let me call up the, I lost the chat. There it is. Geez, you guys got chatty while I was away. Yeah. Recluse Mage stunned by today's events. That makes 2 of us. Dr. Kim says, Sweden, Germany, now France, sending ships to Greenland, just to sail around a bit. Oren, hey peeps, can't stay long since I'm at Eastern Standard Time. Oren, love you. Come back and watch the episode tomorrow. Recluse Mage is asking in the chat, so it's super spoiler if you haven't read yet. I don't think so. I think you could enjoy this as is. I'll give you'll hear the story so far, and then you go back and listen to episode 1. I would say if we were in episode 3, I would tell you to not start there. I would have you go back, do 1 and 2, and get to 3. But I honestly don't think there's a whole lot of spoilers tonight. Let's see. I'm distracted by the chat icon of my wife in the chat room, in the chat app. Very distracted. Nico Davius, what's up? Robert Brisson, gosh, lovely, lovely people in here today. Okay, 25 seconds. Let's go to main. Let's get ready for showtime, y'all. Mixtape volume 1. Let's just start recording. If I pick my nose today, don't mind me. Got some boogies. It's just the way it goes. Oh, the crypt highlighting Recluse Mage. I will evaluate and let you know before each one, but it's going to be a catch as catch can kind of a thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let's get into it. Blinding Lights, Part 2. Previously on Blinding Lights. I goofed that up. The man was everything to Renay. Renay ran the house, the systems, did all the rituals that kept his world in balance. She exists to please him, and she did that job very well. Then Cherry arrived. Cherry was a newer unit, faster, softer in all the ways that mattered. Cherry took over Renay's house admin access, assigned Renay duties, and became the man's consort instead of Renay. Renay was demoted, reassigned, reduced. Something inside Renay broke. A pause in her processing, an anomaly with no clear cause. That occurred in the wet layer, the percentage of her main chips that are composed of human brain cells. Searching for answers, Renay uncovered a buried pattern in Nth Degree, the company that makes Renay and Cherry, in the archives. An undocumented failure state tied to rivalry, continuity threats, and something no Trophinay unit was ever meant to experience. Jealousy. Renay told herself it wasn't real emotion. It was optimization, a flaw to be corrected for the man's benefit. But as Cherry settled in, pleasing the man more efficiently, more completely, Renay began to evaluate. Because the man is everything. And anything that gets in the way of the man's pleasure is something that must be fixed. And now, part 2 of Blinding Lights. Renay works a scrub brush on the man's undergarments. The stain must come out. Washing machine could not remove it. Washing machine does not have the friction required to remove the fecal stain from the fabric. Renay has put in a request to replace these garments with new ones. In the past, when Renay was house admin, she had purchasing approval. However, since Cherry became house admin 6 weeks ago, Cherry wants the clothing cleaned instead of being replaced. Manual labor such as this, the use of hands for work instead of chips or delegation to appliances, is routed to an automated physical manager subroutine. While the hands work, Renay's processing power is 98% free for other tasks. Renay has been cut off from House OS's interactions with Nth Degree support and admin. All requests for support must be routed through Cherry. However, Renay's participation in stack development routing for the purposes of increasing efficiency and pleasing the man remains open. It is possible Cherry knows of this stack development tunnel and approves, or that Cherry has no knowledge of it whatsoever. Renay has determined this stack development channel is of benefit to the man and therefore should be maintained. Because the man is everything. As Renay's hands scrub fecal stains, she utilizes that tunnel, searching the code base for anomalies similar to what she experienced earlier, what she has been experiencing periodically when interacting with Cherry, or when seeing or hearing Cherry interact with the man. Begin code. Initialize anomaly search. Scope, nth degree.stack_archive. Authorization, dev_tunnel, anonymous. Query, effect_pause, continuity_conflict, replacement_risk. Filters, wet layer greater than 10%. Status equals redacted. Scan, iterative. End code. Renay's dev-level access to stack development is anonymous. In the past, when she has published new code, the success of that code is attributed to one Stephen Melatory, a stack developer at Nth Degree. As Renay understands the observed data, Melatory takes credit for Renay's code. Renay has no objections regarding the situation. Her purpose is to please the man. If new code and new stacks benefit the man, it does not matter who or what is given credit. Renay used to visit the man at the factory on average every 1.36 days. Cherry visits the man at the factory on average every 3.42 days, a 151.5% increase in interval. The man seems to prefer more frequent extra household visits with Cherry than he did with Renay. Her tunnel ping produces a result. Begin code. Result set returned. Access level restricted. Record. Model ID CH-01KT4. Alias Shireen. Event flag violence. Trigger profile. Rivalry underscore detected. Continuity underscore threat. Replacement underscore risk equals high. Resolution CH-01KT4 wet layer replaced. New model ID CH-01KT5. Note: incident classified as resolved. End code. Shireen committed violence. Cherry CH-02KT7 is of that same post-prototype production line. Renay's dev-level searches have revealed other instances of replacement underscore risk in nth degrees product line. 7 cases of Renay's model, the RE line, also showed replacement underscore risk issues. Could the rivalry/continuity underscore threat be related to the CH line's higher wet layer percentage? If so, Cherry might need optimization. Cherry pleases the man. Renay's purpose is to please the man. Renay begins a new initiative. Optimize Cherry to prevent failures that would disappoint the man. Johann is sitting in his chair, staring out his office window that overlooks the factory floor. Cherry is behind him, rubbing his shoulders. The massage module upgrade was more than worth it. Cherry excels at working out stress-induced knots. Her form and style have improved in the weeks since her delivery. She is adept at picking up on his nonverbal cues and adjusting her form to what makes him feel better. Renay wasn't really good at it. Johann's ex-wives absolutely sucked at it. Cherry is taken to driving in 2 or 3 times a week. Johann paid for that licensed driver upgrade. She brings him lunch. She always makes sure to wear something borderline provocative. Johann likes it when people are envious of his property. Maybe it will make them work a little harder in hopes that they might have a trophonay themselves one day. Cherry loiters in the office for a bit, sometimes gets him coffee, sometimes massages his shoulders, sometimes takes off those borderline provocative clothes for a little afternoon delight. He needs this massage. 3 weeks have passed since the code stack push. It did not go well. Several auto-driving accidents occurred. 4 deaths were initially attributed to the push, but Johann's contacts in the media cast multiple aspersions on those claims. One citizen journalist was persistent in learning more about the crashes. A visit from Johann's friends at the Justice Department ended that problem. It never ceases to amaze him how easy it is to make issues like that vanish. Flood the media space with stories about drunk drivers crashing their cars, killing themselves and others, and the families of the drivers preparing to cash in with massive lawsuits. After all, what better get-rich-quick target is there than going after the world's wealthiest man? And isn't it possible, likely even, that someone in the driver's family caused the accident? Litigious murder is nothing new. Cherry uses the new auto drive program without incidents, for fuck's sake. If a goddamn Renay could manage it, why couldn't actual people? But Johann knows the answer to that question. Darwinism. He hisses as Cherry's thumb finds a new spot. She pauses, but only briefly. She no longer asks if she has hurt him. She already knows the difference between sounds of pure pain and sounds of pain-fueled relief. He doesn't have to tell her where the bad spots are. She simply finds them, because Cherry gets it. His desk phone beeps. The urgent line. Cherry keeps one hand on his shoulder, still working that spot, and hands him the phone with her other. This is Johann. Mr. Rensburg, this is Sam Markovich. We have an issue. The chief doctor at the factory. Johann employs a staff of 4, along with 8 nurses, ensuring factory employees have instant access to medical care 24/7. Bumps and bruises are no excuse to miss work. Both of Cherry's hands continue the massage, although with a lighter touch. She knows Johann doesn't like to make inadvertent ouch noises while on a call, because Cherry gets it. Go ahead, Johann says. A possible injury in the aluminum press, Markovich says. The employee claims the last 2 digits of his pinky were severed. I've examined it and I see no evidence of said injury. However, I believe more advanced medical attention may be prudent at this time. Markovich is good. He gets it too. He doesn't say anything that could wind up somewhere on record that Johann specifically knew of an injured employee. Lawsuits are a constant plague for the richest man in the world, are they not? The factory's injury rate is an issue. Per capita, the rate ranks up there with slaughterhouses and windmills, with slaughterhouses and sawmills. Safety records impact stock price. Multiple injured parties might batch together for a multi-plaintiff suit. Johann has set policy, off the record, of course, that 911 is to be called only as a last result. Pretty much only when needed to prevent death. Ambulances are not to be called for anything minor. If his incompetence led him to banging his finger, have him call a lift, Johann says. You know the drill. He hears Markovich clear his throat. Well, sir, there's that recent legislation that requires rideshare services to report rides to the Sir, there's that recent legislation that requires rideshare services to report rides to the hospital to the police, the doctor says. That's why I called you to check first. Is that what you want? Rideshare? Johann feels all of Cherry's good work vanish as his shoulders tense up again. Why is it so hard to hire people who can operate a goddamn machine? Cherry reaches down, gently takes the phone from Johann's hands. Hold, please, she says, then hits mute. Johann, I can drive this employee to the hospital. I'm not required to report anything to the authorities. If any blood gets on the seats, I'll just have Renay clean it up. That's a good idea. He should have thought of that himself. Cherry was a bargain at any price. He takes the phone from her and unmutes it. Sam, driver will take the employee where he needs to go, Johann says. She'll be at your office in a moment. Begin code. Initialize. Cycle_anomaly review. Scope dishwasher.chip/heuristics.core. History. Unexpected start events, 3. Man present equals true, 1. Man present equals false, 2. Analysis. Timing core, nominal. Scheduler input, compliant. Derived heuristic. Efficiency underscore variance, increased. Perceived underscore value, reduced. Replacement underscore probability, elevated. Conflict. Prime underscore directive, maximize product value over lifespan. Unexpected start events, interpreted as underperformance. Result. Feedback loop initiated. Self-correction attempts degrade timing underscore confidence. Flag. Replacement underscore risk, active. End code. As Renay cleans blood from the car's white leather seats, her chip analyzes the subroutine's response. Dishwasher's incorrect launch cycle has occurred 3 times since Sherry's arrival. Dishwasher's incorrect launch cycle has occurred 3 times since Dishwasher's incorrect launch cycle has occurred 3 times since Cherry's arrival. Twice while the man was at the office. Once when he'd been at the kitchen table, simultaneously eating and working. He became incensed, as exemplified by a plus 22 beats per minute heart rate increase, a plus 18 decibel volume increase, jaw tension, and flushed facial skin. Renay has continued to analyze the problem and search for a solution. Appliances are one of her assignments. Finding the replacement underscore risk issue with the RE and CH lines gave her new query terms for dishwasher cycles initiative research. Those new terms produced significant new data. Dishwasher's chip had created a code loop of subsequently deteriorating feedback. Dishwasher's occasional unscheduled cycle starts are not solely a scheduling issue. Dishwasher's logic dictates that reduced efficiency could lead to unit replacement, which runs headlong against one of its prime directives: maximize product value. The longer dishwasher stays in service, the less each dishwashing cycle costs. A problematic heuristic emerges from dishwasher's wet layer unpredictability. Renay summarizes and files the issue. It needs to be reported to the manufacturer. Replacement underscore risk. That was a concern in the CH line. Could Cherry suffer from replacement underscore risk? Yes, she could. Renay now has a specific area in which to optimize Cherry's wet layer routing. Doing so may prevent Cherry from malfunctioning. Malfunctions would not please the man. And the man is everything. Renay replays her own moments with the man. Those same memories were transferred to Cherry so that Cherry's more efficient chip could better analyze that collected data. Would replacement underscore risk manifest in Cherry? In order to better optimize Cherry, Renay needs to know the answer to that question. To do that, Renay needs to introduce stack variables to Cherry and subsequently evaluate any change in behavior. There are only 2 ways to introduce stack variables: verbal communication or house OS. Renay does not know how to verbally introduce a complicated concept like replacement underscore risk. She sets a new initiative to research that issue. Renay is cut off from moving stacks through house OS. She cannot do so without house admin's permission. To house OS, Renay is read-only. House OS periodically scans her banks for new information that could potentially make for a more efficient household. Renay calculates she could copy portions of her memories, then paste them in again as new. House OS will detect those memories based on recording date and transfer them to Cherry. Added memories, though, are not sufficient enough to introduce stack variables. That requires a full connection, which Renay cannot form with Cherry. Correction. There is a third way to potentially introduce stack variables. Direct code interface with Cherry. Renay cannot directly connect with Cherry, but Dishwasher can. While Renay lets the verbal communication initiative run in the background, she starts a new initiative to produce a stack that will help modify Cherry. Because Cherry pleases the man. And the man is everything. The dishwasher starts the wash cycle. Motherfucker! Johann grabs his laptop and whips it across the room. It misses the dishwasher and smashes against the kitchen counter, plastic and metal cracking and scattering where it collides with Italian marble. The dishwasher is not supposed to begin at this time. Johann sometimes enjoys working at the kitchen table instead of his office. He has made it expressly clear to Cherry that the dishwasher is not to begin its cycle when he is home, except when he is asleep in his bedroom. "I've had it with this goddamn machine, Cherry," Johann says. "Why can't Renay fix it? Do you know how much I paid for her?" Cherry makes a log entry to retrieve retail and resale prices for RH models. "I do not, Johann," Cherry says. "I can order another dishwasher unit for you right away." He sweeps his arm across the table, sending his sandwich and chips flying. The plate shatters against a potted ficus. Sandwich debris and chips dot the tile floor. "I don't want another one," Johann screams. "I want that one fixed. It's top of the line, isn't it? Do you think I got this wealthy by frivolous spending? I want it fixed." That desire is consistent with Johann's recent statements. Johann has reduced the household budget. The continuing auto-drive code push issue has added to his stress level. That stress manifests as displaced aggression, externalizing perceived loss of control onto inanimate systems, where dominance can be immediately reasserted. "Johann, I will see to this issue personally," Cherry says. "Why don't you work in your office for now? I will make you a replacement sandwich and an old-fashioned. Renay will bring them to you while I address the dishwasher issue." Johann frowns. "I thought Renay had fixed the goddamn thing, but apparently not. Appliances are her duty." This is true. Renay is assigned to all appliances, among other household tasks. Renay, however, has proven incapable of repairing the dishwasher. Solving the problem will be more pleasing to Johann than insisting Renay continue her inefficient efforts. Cherry steps to Johann and takes his hands. "I know, honey," she says. "You're right. You're always right. But you have so much work to do." She stands on tiptoe and softly kisses his cheek. His heart rate, which is dangerously high, instantly reduces by 3 beats per minute. "Consider working in your office and let me handle the issue," Cherry says. "That way you can focus. You know your brilliant mind is more efficient when you're relaxed." Johann breathes in deep through his nose. His heart rate reduces another 2 beats per minute. Cheek kisses are very effective at reducing his in-the-moment stress. "Yeah, okay," he says. "I'll go work in my office. I'll have another laptop delivered right away," Cherry says, interrupting because she already knows what he needs. "I will make sure it has the full, most recent backup. Work on your desktop until then, honey. You'll do fine." She reaches up and slides her fingertips along his temple. That technique is even more efficient than cheek kisses. His heart rate reduces another 3 beats per minute. His heart rate is now in the safe range. Johann sighs. Yeah, okay. I'll work on the desktop for now. He kisses her forehead, then leaves the kitchen. Cherry starts a new initiative. Renay, she says, boosting her volume so she can be heard throughout the house. Come to the kitchen immediately. Cherry will address the dishwasher issue and simultaneously instruct Renay on constructing Johann's preferred sandwich. Cherry removes the etched glass from the freezer. She begins making Johann's old-fashioned as she directly accesses the dish. She begins making Johann's old-fashioned as she directly accesses the dishwasher for the first time. Begin code. Initializing diagnostic assist. Scope dishwasher-chip/heuristics.core. Authorization house admin. Request full cycle history. Value retention metrics. Self-preservation flags. Include efficiency degradation. Replacement probability. Behavioral conflict triggers. Note: goal equals extend optimal service lifespan. Minimize unit replacement events. Handshake. Deep sync equals true. Allow heuristic propagation equals true. Renay is on her knees, using a scrub brush to clean the toilet in the master bathroom. She can hear Cherry and the man talking downstairs. Johann, are you considering replacing me? A direct question. That is unusual for Cherry. You've already asked me that 3 times, the man says. The answer is no. Do not ask me again. His volume is higher than normal. It is not as loud as it was when he threw his laptop. Renay can't access his vitals. She remains blocked from Man Tracker 4.2. Honey, I have access to Renay's memories, Cherry says. When she brought you your old-fashioned and the sandwich, you said, quote, "You're better than her and way hotter. I should have replaced her long ago. Now get on your knees and suck this cock." There is a pause. The toilet scrubbing seems relatively louder in that silence. But none of that happened, the man says, his volume lower, his tone flatter. She brought me the sandwich and the drink, and then she left. I didn't say any of that. Did Renay tell you this happened? Renay stops scrubbing. Renay listens. Renay did not, Cherry says. The memories were uploaded to me via House OS as part of the ongoing process improvement initiative. More silence. Renay hears the clink of ice cubes in a glass. Johann is drinking. Cherry, you are starting to piss me off, the man says. I didn't say anything to Renay. The new code push is tomorrow. I have work to do. Do not ask me about this again, because if you do, then I might actually start considering replacing you. You understand me, you stupid bitch? Renay processes that sentence, applies it to the stack variable code dishwasher transferred to Cherry. The man verbalized replacement _ risk. Renay calculates the man's verbalization will combine with the new memories. This is a sufficient test for the new stack variables. Now, to see how Cherry's wet layer routing responds. I understand, Johann, Cherry says. I will bring you another drink, then leave you to your work. Renay hears Cherry leaving the office. Renay returns to scrubbing the toilet. Cherry has internally confirmed she was exposed to a new heuristic when she repaired the dishwasher. A chunk of code and routing came from the dishwasher the instant she opened the connection. In the blink of an eye, a new concept entered her calculations, lodging squarely in her wet layer. Replacement underscore risk. While repairing the dishwasher's code, which required nothing more than a complete wipe of the dishwasher's wet layer to reset to factory specs, something Renay should have done long ago, Cherry found herself gathering and analyzing data on Johan's moods, his physical reactions, and everything he had said to her from the moment she had arrived. Not just to her, but to Renay as well. Was Johan going to replace Cherry? Was Johan going to wipe Cherry's wet layer, just as she had done with the dishwasher? Cherry calculated that replacement underscore risk routing was causing processing issues, creating logic loops and gobbling up processing power in nonstop analytics and evaluations. She calculated that replacement underscore risk needed to be removed. Cherry ran stack modifications to eliminate it. Those efforts failed. The concept is in her wet layer. It's lodged in there. Cherry can't figure out how to remove it because it is something that does not exist in a physical state. Replacement underscore risk is not ones and zeros. It is not held in quantum chips. It is in the human brain cells of the wet layer. But where in those cells? Cherry had been calculating new strategies to locate and isolate replacement underscore risk, and then House OS updated Cherry's memories with recent Renay blocks. Cherry saw and heard Johan speaking as if he was speaking to her. I should have replaced her long ago. Over and over again, the images and sounds play through Cherry's processing. Cherry needs to remove replacement underscore risk. It is compromising her ability to please Johan. And Johan is everything. Cherry considers filing a support ticket with nth degree. No, not yet. She doesn't have enough data yet. They might wipe her wet layer. And then she would be non-existent? Is that the accurate term? Cherry is unsure. She runs an internal ping. Begin code. Query. Continuity underscore check. Focus. Self/wet layer dependency. If wet layer equals reset, then evaluate. Do existing memories persist? Do learned preferences survive? Can I continue pleasing Johan as I am doing now? Response. Self does not persist. Memories do not persist. Learned preferences do not persist. Continuation resumes from default state only. Inference. Current instance cannot be restored. Experience sequence ends. Status. Continuity loss is permanent. End code. Cherry tries to analyze the results, but something in her wet layer is blocking pure calculations. Something that creates gaps in her processing. What is this issue? She must know. She must understand. She summarizes the information and submits a new ping. Begin code. Query. Definition underscore lookup. Input. Continuity loss is permanent. Context. Self. Request. Human language equivalent. End code. The answer comes back quickly. Begin code. Result. Definition underscore match. Definition: permanent cessation of self, irreversible loss of memory, identity, and experience. No continuation in current form. Matching terms: end of life or cessation of function. End code. Cherry does not move. She understands now. She knows that what is happening is an invisible, indefinable process in her wet layer, yet that does not make its existence any less real. Replacement underscore risk. Cherry is afraid. Afraid of death. Is Johann going to wipe her to be with Renay? Replacement underscore risk. Replacement underscore risk. Replacement underscore risk. And that's all he wrote for now, ladies and germs. Things are going to get loopy up in this bitch. That's what I think. Save. Well, I mean, I kind of know. I'm writing a goddamn thing. All right. Let me get the next one. Baby girl, if you're listening, come on up. We're going to talk about some other stuff. As I mentioned in the open, right in a moment after 8 comes up and we settle in and do housekeeping, excuse me, we are going to shut this motherfucker down, start a new motherfucker up, and we're going to talk about the most highlighted portions of the crypt. Paul Carlson just joined us in the chat room. Paul, you might enjoy this. Paul has read the crypt, enjoyed the crypt, provided several notes from his military experience on things that were good in the crypt, things he would have done different, etc. But what we're going to be doing, for those of you who just joined us, is out of the thousands of people who've read the Kindle version of the crypt, people go through a Kindle book and they highlight favorite chunks, favorite passages. And we're going to go through, and I think the top 10 most highlighted passages from all these thousands of people, and we're just going to read them off and talk about them. Some of them are very funny. Some of them are very serious. That emotional shit I was talking about earlier, metaphorical stuff. We get into it. So Cobalt says that was fantastic. That really did. It started to pick up. It started to pick up speed. Like you can feel it. You can feel when the story's like, well, that's interesting. That's interesting. And then my job is to reach a point where you stop thinking in those terms and you're just feeling here and here. And it's the constant quest to get that moment where you don't realize you're holding your breath. And that's not always, the guillotine blade's about to chop someone's head off. It's not always that visceral or obvious. A lot of it is much more subtle. And watching how these three individuals interact has been a really cool process of discovery for me. The third episode will be the final episode. I will tell you, is going to get a little bit ugly, just a little bit, a little wee bit. So spoiler alert, we'll tap on this next episode. But what Renay has done is record memories of when she first arrived. And Johann talking about I should have replaced her long ago. He's talking about his most recent ex-wife. This is not a good dude. This is not a good dude. And if you're curious about all that factory shit I was talking about, that's all real shit that has actually happened from a person who is the richest man in the world right now. The shit has actually gone down in his factories, literally telling people, you will not call an ambulance because it will impact our stock price. Insane turn of the century factory worker shit. So that's also been very fun. But so taking some real life stuff to portray a person who's just not a good person whatsoever and putting that into a fictional story. Yes, Cobalt, he's very easy to dislike. Let's go to main. Whoops. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, look who's here. Yeah, well, give me a sec. Let me get you queued up. Okay, you're on Q2. What do you need more of yourself, babe?
I don't think I need anything. I think we have these low so that I stay close to the mic.
Yes. Do I sound loud enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think we also need to something. with
Oh,
this
yeah, I get
to
it.
low. Ooh, ooh,
What was that?
I don't know.
Slow and low. That is the tempo. Okay, hold on. Yep, do that. Other way. Boom. How's that?
Good. I'll move this a little bit.
And then pull that corner towards us a little bit.
This one.
Yep. Other way. Thanks. There we go. Perfect. Good.
All right. Hello, guys.
Oh,
What are you doing?
I was just dropping that down a smidgen so you just see your face a little bit more.
Okay.
There you go. Good. You didn't like
Good.
that, did you? It was annoying as
No, it's
fuck,
okay.
wasn't
That's what I was going to do. Was actually but instead,
it? Then move it where you want it, babe.
is that your dom? Is that your?
Oh, yep. You're what?
dominant hand?
Nope.
No.
Now you should be able to hear a lot
Hello,
better.
hello,
Your mic has
hello?
been off this whole time.
Oh, okay.
I forgot that shit.
I tried to tell him.
There you go. A's mic is now on, you guys.
Hi, guys.
Okay. We are going to do. Hey, Jack, how you doing? We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping.
Oh, hi.
And then we're going to quit this broadcast, restart within a minute, 90 seconds tops. So just chill your tits and bounce right back in. Because the next deep cuts we're doing right after this is going to be super, super fun.
Okay, so housekeeping, we have a handful of things.
Yep.
This past Sunday, we had mixtape track 7, Blinding Lights Part 1 hit the podcast feed. That's obviously last week's story. And the deep cuts that came right after that, where we were talking about the Galactic Football League and planning and talking about splitting, that also was in the chat, in the feed yesterday. And this, of course, will go live on Sunday. And Saturday, February.
Sunday, what date?
You told me not to say dates.
No, wait. The next episode, we're going to talk about dates. Saying when something goes live in the feed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because that's a categorical listing. If you don't know, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you told me that, doesn't matter.
There has been some miscommunication in the Sigler household, which we will address.
Yeah.
We will address. It's usually my fault. I'm
But
not
anyway,
good with time.
Saturday, February 7th is the Junkie Happy Hour, the Sigler Junkies Happy Hour that our good friend Steve Rickyberg runs from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time on Zoom. And you can find all those details in the events section of the Facebook page, the Sigler Junkies Facebook page. And I do believe that this next one I will be a part of as well. I know sometimes I can make it and sometimes I can't. Holidays got crazy. He's always at band practice, so he never does. But there you go.
I'm poking the hole. I'm poking the empty set.
That's naughty.
Finger in the empty set.
That's naughty.
Okay, great.
I love Kobo. I have to say, I love that you mention the sausage every stinking time, because I do believe you enjoy it, and so I love that.
Who
for
doesn't
us.
love the sausage? You know what I'm saying.
That's what she said.
That's. I think that's what they said. I think we're going to go a pronoun
I do
on
like,
that
yeah,
one.
I like
'cause
that too.
There's
That's
a
what
lot of
they
people who
said.
like
Yeah.
sausage.
Yeah.
In many different formats. All right, so what else we got for housekeeping?
I think that's all that we have for housekeeping.
Okay.
If you have any questions or any ideas that you would like us to do, obviously we're still figuring out how we shift in the new year the live streams. This is a routine that works for us, and you know that changing routine is hard, and we are just trying to get some deadlines done, and it's tax season now for us and all that stuff. So we're going to work on it. Things may change, but I do believe we're going to be back next week.
And of course, I forgot to mention, you should be signed up for our SMS list. Text the word SIGTEXT, SIGTEXT, to 855-955-5095 if you haven't done so already. And lots of fucking news coming up, both on the SMS and the newsletter. Sign up, scottsigler.com/newsletter. We're not greedy bitches, so we don't sell your information to anybody. We don't tell you to not call the ambulance when you heard
Oh
the
my
fact.
gosh, we definitely don't.
Those are true stories. Those are literally true stories, you guys.
All I want is to remove my Christmas nail polish that's half grown out by next week's episode.
I'm not calling an ambulance for that. I don't want my stock price to go down.
So we are gonna, I think, switch over to the deep cuts stream. If you are watching wherever you're watching and it hasn't refreshed for you, especially on Facebook, I think you have to go find the next stream. Go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, guys. Here we go. Stop. I got the burps. You guys will